At his age, no one can compete with him. No one. So the numbers speak for himself, and inside in the locker room, on the pitch, we see things that they are not in the stats that make us feel happy to have him here.
Is it to see the name of the winner of the men's award? I mean, what a special season that Erling Haaland has had. So it's a debut season that is going to go down in history. Yeah, it wasn't too hard a decision, was it? I'm sure overwhelming in terms of the votes.
82%, which is the highest that we've had actually for a winner in the Premier League era, which says everything, doesn't it? Erling Haaland, I just think, has been supreme for Manchester City, breaking so many records. I mean, he's still probably got Dixie Dean in his sights. He needs a few more for that, doesn't he? But basically, he's already overtaken anything post-war. I mean, I didn't actually think that Clive Allen, for example, who scored 49 goals in all competitions, if you remember, for Spurs, 86, 87, I didn't think that would be beaten, simply because the Premier League has now become so much, in a way, so much tougher, so much more intense, so much more challenging, I think, from a physical point of view as well. And I just think for Haaland to break all records, to go through this incredible barrier of 50 goals, for example, still got the treble in his sights. It's in his first season. Nobody does this in their first season, in their debut season in the Premier League. And I, for one, think that basically that's what makes Haaland so special, so remarkable. I mean, he's a unique striker, amazing talent. And
so young, there's so much ahead of him as well. You kind of wonder what he's going to do next, and will his name be on the trophy for more seasons to come, do you feel?
Oh, absolutely. He's just got that within him. I just think when you make that sort of statement in your first year, I think that basically because of his age as well, there's so much more, I think, potential to come. I mean, look at that. I mean, the stats there are just remarkable. 6 hat-tricks.
Yeah. Not six goals as hat-tricks. It's 6 hat-tricks.
It's astonishing. Absolutely amazing. And I also think, Ali, as well, that basically as the season has gone on, I think he's become a better, all-encompassing player. And that's a tribute to not just him, but Manchester City and the supreme coach that Pep Guardiola is. Because I just think if you take, for example, that all-important, that almost the builders, the title decider against Arsenal, the 2 best players on the pitch, in my mind, were Haaland and De Bruyne. And basically they were almost like a double act. So it's so unfair also to categorise him. He'll have quieter games, of course he will, but to categorise him just as a goal scorer. He's our Footballer of the Year because he is just the complete player as well. And I think that's developed as the season has gone on, which again is a tribute to his desire and determination and his brilliance.
I think we did wonder at the beginning of the season, thought, oh, is he going to be a bit injury prone this season? Because that's happened in the past. You wonder, having not played in the Premier League, you wondered if he'd be able to keep up with the pace. There were a few questions, weren't there? Certainly at the beginning when you wondered about his overall game and what he was or maybe wasn't contributing. So when you take all that into consideration and what he has done, and certainly silence any critics, is this the most impactful we've ever seen of a player where we didn't quite know what to expect?
Yeah, I think other great players as well have taken almost that year to adapt, haven't they? You know, it's been an adaptation period because the English game can be so physical, can be so demanding, can be so different, I think. It's so intense. And I think that's what strikes me, is even the greats like Thierry Henry, for example, or Didier Drogba, you know, basically they were better after their first season. And they really came into their own then, those sort of goal scorers. And that's the difference for me. Do you remember we had that brief spell, didn't we, where the debate was, yeah, but he's good, he's scoring goals, but does he take away, does he detract from City's overall team performances and their style? Well, I mean, he's answered it in the last couple of months. And I think it's really interesting that about a month or so ago, he was very, very tight to the player who's ended up finishing in second place, Bukayo Saka. And they were almost neck and neck. But it tells you everything about the last 4 to 6 weeks that Haaland has polled all these votes. Everyone has basically stayed up their votes. It's fantastic turnout, by the way, from the membership. Brilliant turnout, you know, really, really, really high. Better than you'd ever seen in any general election. Yeah. And just because people could see just the impact that Haaland has had on the Premier League and Manchester City.
So you mentioned there, was it Saka that took up the majority of the rest of the percentage? What other players were in the mix?
Yeah, Saka was second. Martin Odegaard Haaland, who's had such a great season as well, third, and then Kevin De Bruyne, you know, who for me, frankly, you could choose him as a winner any year to be Footballer of the Year, couldn't you? He's been fantastic. And Marcus Rashford, who I think has been in fifth place, who I think has had a fantastic individual season, not just for Manchester United, but also, I guess, for England at the World Cup. He really shone there, didn't he? And he's such a remarkable character and figurehead, you know, for the Premier League and English football.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to ask about actually was Erling Haaland and the type of person that he is. He doesn't seem to have this ego that have maybe come with other big names making a big mark. As a football writer and as the journalists who vote, do we get the feeling that he's likeable, he's fun, and he's actually a really great role model?
Yeah, he's definitely very forthright, isn't he? You know, he tells it how it is. He doesn't hold back in interviews. He's very direct, and he's incredibly engaging, and you know, you want to listen to him. But you're right, I don't think he has that ego, does he? I don't, you know, I think he seems quite, you know, normal, down to earth. You know, it was really interesting, wasn't it? A fascinating interview, I think, that I saw last week with Jack Grealish, saying that just Erling Haaland is so, just so committed and so single-minded and focused on recovery, training, ice baths. And it was just, you know, that says it all, really. He's not interested in kind of, you know, too much off the field. He's not interested in sort of partying. He's just determined to be the best footballer that he can be, and just so focused on doing so well for Manchester City.
Absolutely. Now tell us about 2023 marking a very special anniversary for this award as well. What about the significance of this? Yeah,
well, we're very proud to say that it's the 75th year of this award, and it dates back such a long way. We've got such a proud history of fabulous winners. And you know, quite a few of them actually will attend the dinner in a couple of weeks' time, and it's, you know, it feels so special to have these two great winners in amongst that sort of, you know, that company, the likes of, you know, an Alan Shearer, Gary Lineker, a fantastic list of winners in the past. I mean, it's been wonderful actually. We've used quite a few sort of kind of short clips and films of social media, just recalling their great times, and sort of Teddy Sheringham was another, just recalling some fantastic memories and what they achieved. And when you look at those sort of kind of films, you know, and people looking back, John Barnes, you know, just you realise that this is a cherished award, something we're incredibly proud of as football writers, as a collective, that they buy into it, that they're so proud to win it. And we're delighted to you know, say that sort of Haaland and Sam Kerr will be, you know, both be fully expecting to be at the awards to pick up their gongs on the night.
Yeah, let's hope they enjoy it, you enjoy it, and thank you very much for coming in and announcing the news. Thank you.
Thank you.